I don't drink, but I'm not in recovery. It is just not fucking worth it anymore. A lot of people have a lot of trouble navigating that because they were like, no, you could just like not drink.
Yes.
It's really that simple.
And I want to touch on this because you've mentioned it. You say you had a party pass, like a darker pass, and you almost had these
yeah, we can go on forever.
two sides of you, almost like this.
Which part?
like you had this duality. I want you to dive into that a little bit more and how you decided I'm going to be the best version of myself and I'm going to commit to this. And this doesn't mean I'm going to be perfect. That doesn't mean I'm not going to fuck up or make a mistake or drink too much, but I'm going to be the version of myself that I want to become. How did you start taking the steps towards becoming that person?
I'm not going to say it came easier, but it came with like a higher cost. You can't show up to your class hungover and like think it's gonna roll out the same way. And people are paying all this money to come see you and be motivated by you. And like, you need to be on.
Yeah.
And 100%. And you cannot do that if you are not 100%, whether it's clear, whether it's concise. And I just got into this habit of like, I work 6 days a week. I would go out, and this is like way streamlined. This is not like dark Hollywood party pass. This is like, got to Boston, still thought I could like, okay, well, I can drink like 1 day a week on Thursdays because I don't work on Fridays, but then I would be so hungover on my 1 day off a week on Friday. And it just was this really shitty cyclical pattern. And I just woke up one day and I was just like, fuck it. No, like, nope. Like, I feel like shit. I refuse to feel like shit. And I just like, I really don't drink anymore.
I was going to ask you, do you not drink at all?
I'm not going to say like not at all. It's very specific, and it's very like if I'm on vacation, I also get horrible migraines. And I'm talking like I can't even have a glass of like my favorite Kim Crawford wine, and I love it so much. And I can't even have one glass to not get a migraine anymore. So like it's
not worth it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm just like, it is just not fucking worth it anymore. And it's so I really struggle with like, I don't drink, but I'm not in recovery. So that's always a really precarious situation. And I think a lot of people have a lot of trouble navigating that because they think like they have to be sober. And it just gets really like attachy and namey, and it has to be one thing. I'm like, no, you could just like not drink.
Yes.
It's really that simple.
Yeah. And you find yourself counting how many days it's been since you had a drink, so you don't want to ruin this streak. So that's a healthy relationship
that's
too.
Another thing that's really dangerous, the perfectionism thing, or like falling off the turnip truck. I know that's like a really antiquated saying, but that's like what my mom says. But like, just detach from that and just be like, this is what I'm doing. Like, this is the choice I'm making. This is the choice I'm consciously making in this moment so that I can show up as the best version of me, the clearest, most like whatever, brightest. I mean, you glow differently. There's like a whole thing. So.
Totally. I did a dry 5 weeks or so, and I was doing it specifically because I was going for Miss Massachusetts. So I had that kind of goal.
Yes. That's not negotiable.
Yes. I was like, I'm going for this. Like, I'm going to commit. And I honestly was like, I haven't done this since high school.
Yeah, wow.
Because ever since college, I've been drinking at least once every 2 weeks, obviously way more than that. So I was like, let me prove this to myself to show that I can. And I felt so good not doing it, And but now, like, I do like to go out and have a couple of drinks with friends. So how do we find that balance of knowing when it's the right time to have a couple of drinks and not feel bad about it? Because you go from having an unhealthy relationship with alcohol where you're waking up with the hangovers and it's destroying the next day and potentially ruining relationships depending on how bad.
I mean, take it to the moon on that. It
exactly.
Could be all the things.
How do you find that healthy balance between an extreme with alcohol and not needing to completely cut it out of your life?
So I think that's a real personal journey, and I think everybody kind of has to like find that fine line and like that ballet dance between what is too much, what is just enough. But I think not berating yourself if you fall off course and you wake up, say, and you're like, gosh, I did that a little too much. I think like giving yourself a lot of grace in the process of finding that like perfect midline of like where you vibrate the best.
Ooh.
And not being like, oh, I like took it too far. Like I'm the worst person ever. Like having to like literally just being really, just really noticing and really doing that kind of like download, that self, like, okay, like let me do like a scan here. Like what can I tweak? What can I shift, and it's during those like little tweaks and shifts and dialing it up or down that you then find like, okay, well, this works for me, because everybody is so different. Everybody's so different. I have friends that could go out and like drink like a fish all night and then like I guess show up and do whatever, but everybody has a different. That's tough. That's really tough.
No, for sure. And I think it's important to highlight the fact that the way one person drinks and the restrictions they put on themselves or the balances they create for their own life isn't going to be what necessarily works for you.
Yeah.
So trying to be like, oh, well, this person's doing this, and like, no, you need to find that balance for you.
It's like a skincare routine. It's like when you have like me, I had a period of time where I had like the worst acne ever, and I went on Accutane and all of a sudden everybody was giving me suggestions, and I'm like, yes, but it's like everybody's body is so, it's like even all like the gut stuff or whatever. It's like, that's great, but literally every molecule in every other body is so different. You could be like, well, you could try this, but I don't know if it's going to work for you because you're not me.